Hey, Chickapees, Adam Carolla here. Look, I don't listen to tech podcasts often. In fact, I never do. But when I do, I listen to Speaking in Tech. Greg, Eddie, and Sarah are sort of the Three's Company of tech podcasts. Well, except none of them are as hot as Chrissy. Tune in and get your geek on every week with Speaking in Tech. Love you guys.
Podcasting from Cleveland, Austin, and beyond. Welcome to Speaking in Tech,
where enterprise tech meets consumer tech.
With your host, Greg Knieriemen, his trusty sidekick, Eddie Saipetch, and keeping them honest, Sara Vela.
Sit back and get comfortable. It's time to get your geek on with Speaking in Tech.
Well, documenting our way into another episode of Speaking in Tech on the Register. Thank you for joining us this week. And this week, Eddie and Sarah are both here, and we've got Jim McNiel and Werner Herzog in the green room, patiently waiting to be guests on the podcast. So we got to kind of blow through this a little bit, guys.
What kind of M&Ms do we have in there for those folks?
It's just green M&Ms.
Just green.
Just green M&Ms. So, Sarah, what have you been up to?
Well, I just got back from California. I forgot to tell all our listeners that I was going to be out there for networking field day.
And you forgot to tell us that you weren't going to be around last week.
I know. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Is it a LinkedIn conference?
No.
Oh.
God, no. It was a field day conference. So I was hanging out with Hollingsworth and Foskett and the gang out there in the valley and doing some networking stuff. We had a little announcement from Dell and a bunch of other vendors. And then next week, actually, Eddie, you're going to be in town, and we're doing Tech Unplugged. And Rico Signoretti is bringing Tech Unplugged to Austin.
Does this mean I get the week off next week?
You get the week off.
Ooh,
unfortunately.
And then following that, we have another field day. So there will be a tech field day taking place in Austin. And, of course, Dell will host a segment of that as well. So they're keeping me really fucking busy. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yes. Well, and you get your plugs in there. Hey, let me throw another plug in there for folks who haven't done it yet. Go check out Enterprise Tech. That's Enterprise Tech dots. Well, it's Enterprise
Te dot.
Yeah, Enterprise Te dot ch. So, but it spells out Enterprise Tech with .chp in the end. So please check that out. My weekly newsletter goes out every Sunday. How's
that going?
I think I'm up to 17 followers.
Woo woo.
Hey, every waterfall starts with a drop of water, right?
I guess. Or actually like the earth splits open and water flows, but whatever you want to think about it.
That's the visual I have in my mind. Eddie, what are you up to? Where are you at?
I'm in the frozen Midwest.
Yes, it is very frozen, very cold.
It is, yeah. You've been enjoying the cold weather along with me.
But we missed the pounding that the East Coast got.
Yeah, I'm glad because I wouldn't have made it home on Friday had it not gone as far east as that. So sorry, Washington, D.C., New York, for taking the brunt of it. I'm glad, though.
Yeah, isn't it funny that, in the Midwest we get snow. It's not unusual to have a foot to 2 feet of snow in the Midwest, but when you get that on the coast, everything shuts down. It's like the world's coming to an end. It's the leading news on all the national news carriers.
I saw some pictures from Todd Scales, also known as Scott, where he, on his deck, he took a picture and then 4 hours later, it was maybe 12, 14, 16 inches. And then 4 hours later, it's another 2 feet on top of that. So those guys got hammered. I think we would pretty much shut down here too. It's pretty hard to keep up with.
All right, let's get to some news, Sarah. What do we got?
What do we got? Well, people are leaving Twitter in droves. This is bizarre. Yeah. Is it bizarre? I don't know.
Wait. People that are consuming Twitter or
no, people that are working at Twitter.
Oh. Phew. So Twitter's not dead.
No, Twitter's dying.
Heads of product, media, engineering, and HR depart is the VentureBeat headline. But yeah, a whole bunch of execs. I guess it got leaked. Jack Dorsey was pissed. He said he was hoping to be able to talk to his employees about it, but it got leaked, and so he had a little explanation that he posted to Twitter, long form. I could
He's
not
got
help
some
but
explaining
notice.
to do.
That may be why they're looking at expanding the character limit. Right?
When the CEO of Twitter takes to Twitter with an explanation of what's going on, and by explaining what's going on, he grabs a screenshot of a letter and shares it as an image on Twitter, that might be a clue that something's up. Like, there's a problem here that needs fixing.
There's a rumor circulating that they may be expanding the word count limit to 10,000 characters.
Yeah. Or more.
So it's going to turn into Facebook, basically.
I've seen that rumor.
Maybe it's one of those things where it was like you were either on the 140 side or you were not on the 140 side, and those people that left were on the 140 side.
I don't know. I don't think it's that. It's hard to believe it all devolves to that.
So what's this all about then?
I don't know. I mean, I think Twitter, they brought Jack Dorsey back, and there was this sort of hope and sense that he would renew the product. And he did a couple things, like he brought in moments. He tried to make it more quote unquote user friendly. But it's not, investors aren't happy. It's not taking off in the way that is expected, and it's not earning revenue.
What? Twitter's not earning revenue. Are you kidding me? I mean, they came up with this whole model and didn't think about how they're going to make any money from it? I can't believe a unicorn
tweeting
would do that.
I laugh at your cynicism, but also part of me and part of you too must be a little protective of Twitter. I mean, it's our platform of choice, right? And we love it, and I want it to stay. I want it to be strong.
Yeah, I said the same thing about MySpace.
You did not. That's a lie.
I love MySpace. It didn't Justin Timberlake buy MySpace or his company?
To make it like a music platform, and that.
Yeah. I mean, what happened to that?
I don't think anything happened to that. That was a waste of money.
And now there's a new one called Peach or something like that.
I don't even know. Now
Is that a
you're
MySpace or a music
way
thing?
past me.
So yeah, apparently Peach is a slick new messaging app from the founder of Vine.
What the fuck?
Yep. So we got another
That's
way.
what the world needs, is a slick new messaging app.
Right. Like we don't have enough of those already.
I don't know how to get messages to people.
Yeah.
How do you message Werner Herzog?
I do. Well, I send him a carrier pigeon.
Yeah. We'll have to ask him because I don't think he's connected to the internet.
Anyway.
So what does this mean? Is we're just going to get some fresh meat inside of Twitter now to rejuvenate it and try to find a way to make revenue?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on over there. I really don't. I mean, I don't think I've ever understood exactly what's going on over there, except that they made this amazing, great product.
Yeah, it is a great product, just the way it is. I think there's features they don't highlight. I look at things like that I use every day, like lists. And they've always kind of deprecated lists to this kind of...
They ruin lists.
They completely ruined it. I think it's one of the most valuable features. If you're talking about scaling and trying to create more connectedness across multiple people, lists are one way to do that in a very efficient way. And they've killed lists, basically. It's still there. I still use it. But
They make it hard to use.
Yes.
Oh,
Deliberately make it hard to use.
I gave up on lists. I gave up on
Why? Because Robert
Twitter.
Scoble told you to?
No. You know what? I find that. So I don't know. I joined Twitter in 2007, and back when it was a small world, and I could find new people that I could learn things from. It was great, and I don't know if there was. I think there were a lot of people that were kind of in the same phase as me, getting on Twitter at the same time, so it was easier to find people that were interesting, and there was a lot of sharing and learning going on. But then as time went on,
So you think there's more crap on there now?
well, obviously there's more crap on there now, but it is the signal to noise thing is hard. You know what? Actually, I got to tell you guys this: the things that I like, I've been using Twitter more. Is that in the Twitter app on the mobile? I don't look at Twitter that often, but now when I go to Twitter on the mobile app, it's like, here's all the shit that you missed. That's great to me because it was so hard.
You like that. Jack Dorsey did that for you.
Yeah, so I love that. I also do I don't look at it a whole lot, but the suggestions on who to follow, the things that it puts in, I don't know if it's it's TweetDeck. There's an activity column and it's just pulling through things that other people have liked or tweeted. So those are, and it finds amazingly interesting things to me. So those two things have brought me back to using Twitter more often than I had used it in the past.
Interesting.
I found myself going more towards Facebook. Probably over the last 3 years, my shift has been mostly to Facebook. But now at the same time, I'm kind of getting bored of the same
don't you
shit
fucking
post on
hate Facebook? Like, I mean, I really fucking hate it. I'm there because I feel like I have to be there because, my Aunt Rima is there.
Yeah. It's like I find it's like how my kid is with Instagram. Like, she just goes through the list of pictures people post, and she's double tapping like heart. And after I saw her do that, I'm like, shit, I'm doing the same thing on Facebook. I'm not getting the value that I'm getting out of Facebook is not more so than Twitter. And I think before, Facebook was a much better sharing platform. For some reason, I just had that perception.
And I think what you guys are describing there is just how transient the nature of social media is, and how the platforms jump from one hot thing to the next hot thing.
Well, to me, a whole bunch of websites popped up literally to take advantage of, to leech off of the Facebook model, right? So that, like, all of that link bait shit, that all got created to take advantage of Facebook. And that model doesn't exist for Twitter. Like, Twitter doesn't, it doesn't favor link bait in the same way that Facebook does. So
because, just to add to that, like, the link bait is like extreme.
It's brutal. So I've stopped. Like, I don't even click on anything anymore, hardly at all. And I avoid Facebook like the plague. But Twitter is still the refuge of thoughtful people sharing content, and the content is actually valuable to me. And that's never changed. Still ultimately Facebook is closed off, and
it's a walled garden.
It's a walled garden, and Twitter is open, and I'm always going to choose something more open over something walled off, and unless it's curated. Facebook isn't curated for me in the sense that I'm looking up a particular topic area. It's just a bunch of people that I happen to know, all jumbled together for no particular reason. But Twitter, I don't know. I'm always going to be. It will always have my love.
First love.
It is.
Interesting. What else we got, Sarah?
Well, Amazon is apparently looking to get back into the phone business.
What?
So here's an article from Ars Technica saying Amazon is looking to dip its toe back into the mobile pool. According to a report, they are hoping to partner with smartphone OEMs to deeply integrate services into handsets.
So here's how I interpret that. They're going to pay off the OEMs so they can put Amazon bloatware onto your Android phone.
Yep.
Nice. Just what we need.
Yep.
Because we don't have enough Amazon.
It feels like the way Netflix integrates itself into remote controls for television sets, which I always find really amusing when a TV comes with a Netflix button.
Yeah.
It's like an Android button in your phone.
Yeah.
But this sounds like they're going deeper than just pre-installing an app
into the API. It's much deeper.
Yes.
It's not just a button.
So they want everything to go through Amazon. All right. I don't think that's going to work. I can't imagine the OEMs surrendering so much, and potentially, as this article states, in violation of the Google Play Services Agreement.
Google, right.
That's there. I don't see how this happens unless they revert back to making an Android-based phone that is not a Google version of Android. It's that same ripped-off version that Amazon's been using for their tablets. When you break it down, it's a really horrible experience, and it's a horrible end-user experience. And if Amazon thinks that they're going to displace Google by being the preferred source for search, for maps, for all the things that
But they're not. I don't think they think that. I don't think they think they're going to replace Google for maps.
Well, you can't get Google Maps without the Android Play services.
No. But they're trying to augment it with all of the services around shopping, right?
I think they want it all.
Yeah, and media.
And media content, yeah. Hey, and I don't know if you guys saw this recent article, but I read it today where Amazon apparently is very easy to social engineer just by having a couple of pieces of data that you can find online. So for example, people who register domains, they have addresses registered to those domains, and people are using that to essentially social engineer and contact Amazon customer service saying, I'm such and such. Can you tell me where my package?
4 digits of my credit card. Where my package is. Yep.
Where was this thing delivered? And then that got me thinking. I mean, that was a long post, and we'll put a link to it in the comments.
It was on Ars Technica.
It wasn't carried there as well. But anyway, it's frightening. Like now, I'm sitting there rethinking about storing, my address and those details with these people, because it's so easy. Once somebody has your personal address and the last 4 digits of your credit card, they can essentially impersonate you anywhere.
Yes. Well, the weak link here isn't the access to the information, Ed. Is it as much a statement about Amazon's ability to have the customer service reps not leak that information out and not provide that information. The weak link here is Amazon's customer service, not the fact that people can find your address. Because, let's be candid, Ed. There's a million ways people can find your address on the internet.
No, that's true. But you know what? But then they start to get information like tied to credit card data and stuff like that. But what's scary is you got to believe this is way bigger than Amazon, and I'm sure that there's tons of other retailers where you send an email and you're like, hey, or a chat or whatever. So that kind of scared the shit out of me. That was my oh shit moment for the week.
It was. Did you cancel your Amazon account?
No, of course not.
So it wasn't that big of a no shit moment.
No, but I'm still figuring out what I need to do.
You're going to put it at a different address. Well, you can't do that on Amazon, right? Because that's where stuff gets shipped.
Exactly.
Yeah, but do you have to have an address? Oh, you do have to have.
Yeah, you have to have an address.
Amazon is very
I think they ship their detergent to you.
This is what you do. You put because you'd have to delete the new address every time. I was going to say, put a bullshit address. Like, I'll say that I live at your house, but then I'll always put in a new address. So, like, ship to this place instead. But then I realized, that I'll have to delete.
Don't you kind of feel like it's a little bit the lottery, but in reverse? Like, how likely is it that you'll be hacked? Probably. I mean,
look at this, Sarah.
I know security people everywhere are tearing their hair out as I say this out loud, but this is partly my strategy or defense or
security by obscurity.
Blanket over my head, but
it depends on how many people you piss off. Like in my case, I piss off a lot of people on a daily basis.
So I don't piss off a lot of people. I don't think I'm a big target. And also, I don't have any money. I have no credit. So if you hack into my shit, sorry, you can't spend it.
I guess that's one way to be secure, isn't it?
We're going to go to an all-cash society. Pay with Bitcoin.
But I don't care. I just don't worry. It doesn't, I don't have time. I don't have the energy and the time to worry about that shit. If something bad happens, then I'll deal with it. But I don't think something bad is going to happen. I just go off the assumption that it's not going to happen.
We should just use each other's addresses as the shipping address for Amazon.
Oh, what? And then you're going to send me stuff?
Oh,
that's what we do.
Yes, you can say, Greg, I need you.
This will be a bitch for you.
Greg, I need you to order me 10 cartons of toilet paper, and I need it by this date.
Dude, I go to the store for that. I don't buy toilet paper from Amazon.
Wait, what's the store? You don't use Amazon one day now service?
I go to H-E-B, man. Like a real grown up. Get in my car and I drive to the store.
All right. Well, I think on that note, we're going to leap into this trailer for Lo and Behold. This is the new movie from Werner Herzog. And right after the break, we're going to have Jim McNiel, the executive producer for the movie, and Werner Herzog himself right after this.
Pittsburgh. The industrial age, the steel mills are long gone. A new industry has established itself. Here, robots are being designed. This one, named Chimp, is testing its limbs on its own.
You could essentially, in the not-too-distant future, tweet thoughts.
I can not only imagine artificial intelligence evolving spontaneously on the internet, but I can't tell you that it hasn't happened already. Because it wouldn't necessarily reveal itself to us.
My dishwasher came to me and said, look, I'm falling in love with your refrigerator. And as a result, I have no time to wash your dishes. I wouldn't like that dishwasher.
Will our children's children's children need the companionship of humans? Or will they have evolved in a world where that's not important?
This here is Robot 8. It's very identifiable because its pattern includes 4 green dots on top, and it's one of our favorites, actually.
Beautiful. Do you love it?
Yes, we do. We do love Robot 8.
Well, there you guys go. You guys had a taste of the trailer. Lo and behold, Reveries of the Connected World. And with us, let me introduce first Jim McNiel, Chief Marketing Officer for NetScout and Executive Producer for the movie. Jim, how are you?
Hey, Greg. Good to see you again.
I know. It seems like it was just yesterday you were on the podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. And particularly, thank you for bringing a very special guest with you. With Jim is film director, producer, screenwriter, author, actor, and opera director Werner Herzog. In 2009, Werner was named one of the 100 most influential people on the planet by Time magazine. Thank you so much for joining us, Werner. How are you?
I'm all right. We are a little bit snowed in, but I'm a little bit confused. You know, I'm somebody who made his first phone call when I was 17, and I don't know what a podcast is.
Is this the first podcast you've ever been on?
It sounds like diapers or something like what the hell is a podcast?
Trust me, we get plenty of people asking us the same thing.
It sounds like dog poop or diapers.
Yeah.
What is please, can you explain what is a podcast? You do not see me, apparently.
No, we don't see you.
But I see a face here that seems to be you.
Yeah, that's Greg's face. That's Greg's face.
Yeah,
I think that, guys, you have to see this picture here. You know, Werner and I are sitting on this couch in this beautiful snowbound cabin up in Utah, and Werner's talking into my MacBook Pro, which I don't think is something that he's ever done before.
It's kind of weird, but I still don't know what a podcast is.
Well, think of it like a radio show, but it's recorded over the internet.
Okay, and how did we get into this? Did you...
Did I hack?
Did you hack?
Jim dragged you along.
No, I think Jim, he's good at that. I think he hacked into Google and then connected to you.
We've actually made a brain machine interface into Greg's mind, which is the most terrifying thing I think I could ever do.
It is, and worthy of a documentary by itself. Well, Werner, thank you again so much for taking the time to join us. You're at Sundance. You've premiered the movie, lo and behold, Reveries of the Connected World. And right off the bat, before we get into with Werner, Jim, I got to ask you, how did this all come together?
Well, you know, it's been a great journey, and I'm gonna make it brief, but I'll tell you that, you know, Greg, look, we're all geeks on this bus, and we all know what we do and how we do it and how important it is. But there's a lot of people out there using the tools that we build and the systems we build that don't have a clue as to how it works or where it comes from or what it does. And I thought it was time that we engage with a real storyteller to communicate to the planet that, you know, the inventions of all these brilliant people that we rely on and care about so much are, you know, they're fragile. They're important, they're precious, and they're fragile. And someone's got to tell people that if you don't pay attention, things can go wrong.
Well, NetScout underwrote this. Why not just buy a Super Bowl ad?
Because I could never convince Werner Herzog to do a Super Bowl.
I do not do ads.
He doesn't do ads or commercials. Yeah. So that's why this is not. It's not a NetScout commercial. It's a film, and it's specifically a film. You know, about. You know, I thought. You know, I discovered this week with Werner in Sundance as we've been through all these interviews, and people are asking all these probing questions about what we learned about this particular journey. And I thought we were making a movie about technology, and I discovered that Werner was actually making a movie about humanity. So it's been really a wonderful adventure.
I've heard rumors, Werner, that you're not super excited about the internet, but here you've created a movie about technology or about humanity as it interrelates with technology. But film itself is a very technological medium, obviously. So I'm curious about how you approached the technology of filmmaking and whether that informed your discovery of technology today, like how those things relate for you.
It's not so easy to answer because I think, number one, I have to say, when you believe I'm not super excited about the internet or things, it is a very exciting moment in human history. So there's something very big out there that influences all. It's only that I'm not too much excited to use all the aspects of it. I literally do not know or didn't know until a moment ago what a podcast was. So I do not use a cell phone, and I do use the internet, but mostly for emails. Mm-hmm. So in cinema, well, you see, I grew up in a very, very remote place in the Bavarian Alps. We didn't have running water, so for getting water, we had to take a bucket and go to the well. And we sometimes had electricity, sometimes not. We had no radio, no telephone. And as I said, I made my first phone call when I was 17. So, and cinema, I didn't see films until I was 11. In fact, I did not even know that cinema existed until I saw my first films when a traveling projectionist came to this one classroom, little schoolhouse in the mountains. But of course, it has to do with technology. But the technical side of cinema, you can learn in a week. You do not need to go to film school. It's fairly simple, very primitive sort of elements there, and you can understand it in a few days. But then comes the other side. How do you tell a story? How do you captivate an audience? How do you edit a film and all these things? And that is something you have to have in you somehow.
And believe it or not, a podcast isn't that much different. In fact, it takes about an hour to learn how to podcast, Werner. So you got that there out there eventually for you too.
Wait, so does this mean we can get Werner to do a regular segment on our podcast?
Greg is the first person on the planet to compare his podcast to Werner Herzog.
No,
that's not what I was doing.
Filmmaking cinema.
No, because I understood that you, Jim, I think you went into Google, but how do you hack Google? How do you hack into Google and then continue from there?
Actually, what we are doing, I will tell you, what we are doing is we are on a Skype communications call, which you've used 1,000 times before.
I do not see anyone moving.
But we're doing just an audio Skype. We're not doing, because we want to have really good bandwidth, so we have high quality audio.
I thought Skype was always a face speaking to you.
The only person on this podcast worth looking at is Sarah. So if we did a video call, we'd have Ed and we'd have Greg.
Yeah.
Trust me, this is better for everybody involved.
Yeah, really. I mean, Greg has a face made for radio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Greg,
exactly.
The people who listen into you, do they hack into your website, or how do you get access?
No. We just it's shared out there. We've got a website for it. It's also distributed by the Register every week, which is Europe's largest tech publication online.
And it's on iTunes.
It's distributed the way films are distributed. It's the same kind of model. So but it's subscribed to as a serial.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like watching a TV show every week. You know, these guys get together and talk about the news and technology, and they do a pretty good job of it. So
I have to dig into this world.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think you'll find some amazing storytelling, actually, that you'll find quite compelling. If you like audio storytelling at all, and
I think was great radio in the 30s and 40s. My wife listens to it in her darkroom. She's a photographer, and it's wonderful to listen sometimes into the radio shows of the late 30s. It's really good stuff.
There are some really compelling podcasts being made now that are modeled after the 1930s and 40s radio shows and serials that I'm sure somebody can help you find and discover and listen to. They're really fun.
Hey, Sarah, what's the name of that wonderful podcast? It's about that kind of bizarre fictional place.
I'm having a moment where it's.
You think about it. You guys go.
I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone because we're teaching Werner Herzog about podcasts, and there's so much to be garnered from learning from Werner.
Well, Werner, what did you learn in the making of this movie? What surprised you most, or what was your kind of big discovery moment as you put this film together?
I believe that some of it is that I surprised the people with whom I had conversations. I didn't prepare, I didn't do any research, but I would ask them, for example, my Clausewitz, as I call it, my Clausewitz question. The Prussian war theoretician Clausewitz in Napoleonic times once famously said, "Sometimes war dreams of itself. Now, does the internet dream of itself?" And it baffled many of the persons with whom I spoke, because it's a very deep question and it's a very puzzling sort of way to look at the internet. But of course, there were many very beautiful surprises for me, in particular mind reading. You actually can put a person into an MRI machine and the tiny electromagnetic waves that are emanating from our skull can be read and can be analyzed. And what is very beautiful and incredible is that there seems to be some sort of a vocabulary or grammar within our human brains, and I mean in general. So if you read a text in a book in English, and I take a brain scan, and somebody reads the same text in Portuguese, we can tell, because of the kind of grammatical differences of the signals that you are reading in Portuguese. So and you can tweet. Ultimately, in the future, you'll be probably able to tweet thoughts without typing it down. Mm-hmm. And it's a phenomenal, there's phenomenal things going on. And of course, I'm completely and utterly excited and baffled and intrigued by what's going on, because it has to do with everyone here on this planet.
Werner, I need to ask you, how do you see your films being preserved and consumed over the long haul for the next 10, 20, 50 years? Do you think it's all going to be digital based? And how does that help or hurt your film and the legacy you've created by these great works you've made?
Well, I think the more stable medium still seems to be celluloid. Yeah. But we do not know, of course, and celluloid degrades, and some of my films are pretty much the negative. So when you strike a print, they're pretty much pink by now, and you have to restore them. So it's a sensitive thing. Digital, we do not really, but that's the next step, yes. There will be digital records, but it's kind of scary. Do they hold out for longer time or not? We do not know. I think there's not too much experience. I'd rather like to have it, if they are digitally made, like going, where is this place where you have the faces of the American presidents, stone?
Yeah.
Where is this monument? What is it called?
Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore. Thank you, Eddie.
Rushmore, yes.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yes, let's find a good rock face. And chisel in ones and zeros, billions of them.
That's it.
And that might be one of my movies. It may be a little bit more durable, but the people who are coming in 100, 200 years may not be able to understand and read a binary code anymore. It may get lost.
So one of the people we talk about in our film, Greg, we all know is Vin Cerf, and one of his projects right now is Digital Vellum. Mm-hmm. Right now the state of the art, as Werner has stated it, is you call up Jim Fancher, who is the CTO of Color by Deluxe, who is responsible for, last time I spoke to him, 90,000 films that he keeps in archive, including The Wizard of Oz and Citizen Kane, and they get put into 3 cans. They're color separated. They're put into 3 cans. And there's 1 can stored in a warehouse, air conditioned on one side of the San Andreas Fault, and there's another one on the other.
Wow.
So when California splits off and becomes an island, it's still safe.
No. Put it another way, they'll have their movies too.
Yeah, there you go.
but let's not worry too much about what is way ahead in the future. I personally believe that the books that I've written, like Conquest of the Useless, or of walking in ice will outlive my films. And paper somehow has a longer, or books have by dint of their nature have a longer life apparently. It's a very strange thing, and wasn't there something like the Wikipedia emergency project? If there's a threatening moment like solar flares or volcanic blackout all around this planet, volunteers will quickly print out all the content of Wikipedia on paper and stash it away. It sounds very funny.
Well, yeah, hopefully they don't use inkjets, which deteriorate in like 3 years, right? Or thermal paper.
Ed, it's your job to get on the horn with them right away and tell them not to use inkjet.
That's right. You know what? We'll do a public service announcement next time, just talking about the preservation of memories.
Okay.
But writing, it's a good way to still use longhand. Write. Number one, please read. Do some reading. Read. If you watch too much, if you are too much on the internet or on Twitter and on Facebook, you will lose the world. If you read, you will gain it.
So Werner, I have a question around kind of where those two worlds meet with the things that you're doing. So with the production of the movie, do you think that, is there any goal of yours with the lessons learned to do any writing around those so that those things are on paper?
No, it's just a film and encounters and very deep plowing conversations and sometimes very humorous conversations with people who are at the outer limits and at the forefront of what is going on right now in the digital connected world. It's good that it stays in this area. I do not need to scribble any sort of New Testament around it.
Gotcha.
Who needs that? I don't need it.
Right. This is the state of where we are, right?
Yes.
Werner, I think it's an interesting contrast to your 2010 movie, Cave of Forgotten Dreams, where you've got this beautiful artwork that's been preserved for over 20,000 years.
Yeah, 30,000 years.
30,000 years. It is kind of an interesting concept that you've captured there between the two extremes with these movies.
Yeah, that is an interesting sequence of films that I've made. Cave of Forgotten Dreams and now Lo and Behold, Reveries of the Connected World. They somehow belong together. In which way exactly, I don't know yet. But it's a very good point you're bringing up. And all of a sudden you have a record and you have some information on walls, and we do not really know what was the meaning for the people for these early or still Paleolithic people. What was the meaning of it? Was it religious? Was it
educational?
Whatever, or was it for target shooting? I don't believe so, but whatever, you just don't know.
Maybe it was for wooing women. It was like, come in and look at my artwork.
And there's the question also of how arbitrary is it that this got preserved and that did not, and it of course calls into question like what will be preserved from our era, and will it matter? Will the things that we think matter be preserved over things that we think don't matter, or is it just random? Is it just that it happened to be in this really good cave?
No, I think the people who discover it are going to find out that we put out more crap during this time period, and it was not well preserved, and they were thankful that they didn't have to slog through it all.
Go ahead, Werner.
Well, there's an interesting case. Henri Langlois, the French man who started the Cinémathèque Française, he started collecting and stealing and taking prints of movies. And he said, we take everything, even if you think this is crap, I want to keep it. And he kept it, and all of a sudden we have great discoveries of things that nobody had on their radar. And the same thing today. If, for example, in 400 years, we have the show Here Comes Honey Boo Boo surviving, it may give us very, very deep insight into the state of our civilization, and much more insight than the State of the Union address by the president. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, wait. You also wait. There's another archival event that took place at one of your films, which is Encounters at the End of the World. At the absolute bottom of the planet, in the South Pole, in a tunnel, you discovered an artifact.
Yes.
And what was that?
A deep frozen sturgeon and some garlands in a shrine and garlands made of frozen popcorn. I mean, it is just good stuff. And you better preserve the sturgeon right in there and keep it a sacred place. And it's under the mathematical precise point of the southern pole.
Of true south.
The true South Pole.
Wow. So when the Indians come to our planet to understand what our civilization was, they find that we were sturgeon.
It's all about sturgeon and popcorn.
Werner, I want to take a big step back here in reflection and contrast to the movie. What's the one thing that pisses you off the most about the internet?
Nothing at all. No, I can tell you. I was at the dinner table with family, friends of mine. They have a teenage daughter, and 5 minutes into the meal, she lowers her head and under the table sends out text messages. And for the next 1.5 hours, she's on at the table, head slightly down, physically present, but she's in a different world. And she shouldn't be fed. She shouldn't get the schnitzel.
No schnitzel for you.
No, get her out and give me her schnitzel as well. I want her schnitzel and get her out and let her shovel the snow.
Do you think we'll evolve past this distraction? And
I know you mean it, but it's still funny. It's very funny. I mean, come on. You don't get good schnitzel anyways these days, so it's kind of hard to steal a child's schnitzel.
But deny the schnitzel to the daughter of the house.
Whoever gets good schnitzel? I guess you have to live in Germany to get good schnitzel.
Last time I had good schnitzel was in Munich, so that's what I could say about that. Okay, but that's a good question, Greg. I think actually one of the things I've heard Werner say a lot, and he does repeat it, and he's very passionate about it, and we all agree as parents and as adults that there's so much distraction, and there's a very little concept of being present. And being with the people that are around you and understanding what's going on. And while, all of us, the cast of Speaking in Tech and myself are devoted, technophiles, I think we know that there's an abuse going on in a lot of categories.
I'm an optimist, but I feel like we are in a kind of infancy around how we manage and handle technology, and that we'll be able to counter this a little bit, and we'll come back to a sense of balance and attention, and we'll find ways to mitigate all the distractions. That's what I think is possible for us as people.
Yeah, I agree with Sarah. Do you agree with her?
Yeah, of course, yeah. It remains to be seen, and I think people will understand that it has high value for us if we start reading again. I mean, reading like books.
Books.
Not just tweets or Facebook.
What about digital books? Are those allowed?
Do ebooks count?
No. It doesn't matter whether it's in digital form.
Yeah, I read Infinite Jest in digital form. It's still a good book.
No, so you can't read Infinite Jest in digital form because of all the footnotes. You actually have to have a physical copy. It's too hard.
Read Tolstoy, 850 pages.
Which one?
Let's say War and Peace.
Oh, yeah, I read that.
So if whether you read it on a Kindle or on paper
doesn't
matter.
Yeah,
it does, because your arm strength does not continue to grow over time. It's important because since we don't exercise at all anymore, that you carry around heavy books and you read them. I'm a firm believer in this.
Yeah, but how do we read books? I do read, actually. I do not see many films, but I do read. And I read best when I'm on my back and I have the book somehow supported by my chest. It's on my sternum. And I want to feel the weight of it, and I do breathe, and then all of a sudden the book is like part of myself.
Do you understand what you just did?
No.
You just created a Kickstarter Werner Herzog chess campaign.
Eddie,
Now
get
we
on
have
that
to
right
explain
away.
Kickstarter to Werner.
Yeah. Oh, no, Werner's going to be totally blown away by Kickstarter.
Have you seen Kickstarter?
What are you reading now?
I'm reading, you have to recommend it to all of our podcasters. It's a book called Peregrine by J.A. Baker. And it's about observing peregrine falcons. But it's a book, it was published in, I think, 1967 by a completely unknown man. We know literally nothing about him, who watched peregrine falcons, but with such intensity and such passion. I mean, there's this feverish passion, and it's this kind of passion we as filmmakers should look at the world. And besides, he writes prose, he writes language, he writes prose that is the best since the short stories of Joseph Conrad. It's unbelievable, and everyone,
now, Werner,
every single one person who wants to go into filmmaking has to read this book.
I think that's true because hasn't it been proven, or maybe you don't know this, but you probably do, avian scientists who have read Peregrine have determined that this guy knew nothing about peregrine falcons?
It doesn't matter. No, that's
Is that true, Jim?
Because there are some very, very precise observations. If he goes ecstatic sometimes, and
you think that's it? They don't get his prose?
It's something like a wild invention here and there. It doesn't matter.
They can't follow him.
It doesn't matter.
Okay,
it's just
I'm with you.
A very, very fine book.
Now, Werner, be honest. Did you discover this book while you were perusing Amazon.com?
No, in a bookstore.
In a bookstore, a real bookstore.
Yes.
With shelves and books.
That's fantastic. I guess, Werner, a lot of people, I've seen a lot of interviews you've done over the past week around this movie. A lot of folks asking you what you're taking away from this. I want to ask you kind of from the reverse. What did you bring into this film? You've talked kind of about your naivete with some of this technology and the lack of preparation, but you still had to have kind of the concept in your mind of how you were going to approach this. What was that mindset that you came into this with?
Well, there's no naivety. I'm the last one who would be naive because I'm a thinking person, and I do observe what is going on in the world. So I know what is going on, and of course I do some thinking, and I come up with a coherent thought which I can explain, and I come back with coherent questions. So there's absolutely no naivety, and I do not need to read 20 books about the internet. That's not necessary because I'm more into the humanistic aspect of what the internet is all about and what it means to individuals and what it means to society. So I really do not need all that.
Yeah, because your characters are a vessel and a medium to communicate to you what their interpretation is of this technology, right? And that's what I've seen. When you see Werner Herzog square off with Elon Musk and ask him if he believes that the internet dreams of itself, that is a classic moment.
All right. Yeah. And you see, it doesn't matter how much I learned or so. If you as somebody who uses the internet wants to know about what this whole thing is all about, you better watch my movie.
So what do you hope the audience comes away with from this?
They get away with a wonderful film. I won't see anything better about the subject.
I think, Werner, that when you said there's no naivety about it, what you do bring to it is that people are so wrapped up in, where technology is headed, what's the next thing, but it rarely is it focused on the humanity of it. It's mainly focused on what is it going to do for production or being connected and communicating more often, because it seems to be like there's a continual race, whereas we don't really take a step back and think about these things. And I think when you were answering the question, that's kind of what struck me, is that we don't often ask those questions.
Did you ever think about, when you grew up in Germany, about the Second World War and the post-war experience at the time you were living it? Because we don't do that, do we?
Yeah, if you grow up in a really cataclysmic sort of world where every single city is destroyed, and I mean, when you look at 9/11 and Ground Zero, the kind of pile of rubble, but you had 720 cities, entire cities in Germany, reduced to rubble like Ground Zero in New York. So it really makes you think about what the hell happened here. Why am I growing up like that? By the way, it was a very beautiful childhood because we lived as kings in bombed out blocks. We were the kings of everything. So you shouldn't commiserate anyone who grew up like I grew up.
But you didn't know. You didn't know at the time that you were living in, an amazing historical period in German history.
I became very curious very early on.
Yeah.
So I think everyone in my generation, and of course we had to confront our thoughts and our existence with our past, with what we did not do, but our parents and grandparents actually did. So you better took a very, very good look at it, and you listened to the elders with great suspicion. And by the way, it's a little bit the same thing with the internet. It's not naivety, but I'm looking at it with a very well prepared mind, with very clear conceptual thinking, and a very fresh look at it.
So, Greg, the thing that you guys should think about in doing what you do is every day you guys, or every week, you report the news, but oftentimes you don't realize how things are changing around you because you're in the middle of it all. And that's kind of what we want to get across with this film.
This has been really fantastic, Jim and Werner. One thing I want to ask real quickly, Werner, obviously you've had this amazing life, lots of adventures. Who writes or who directs the Werner documentary?
I think it should never be done. It would be a disgrace.
Wasn't it done? Wasn't it done? No, A Burden of Dreams?
No, well, that's one little episode in my life when I moved the ship over a mountain that attracted some attention. And it's nothing so special. I think every grown-up man should move a boat over a mountain.
Every grown-up man should construct 200-ton steamships and commission how many Peruvian natives to drag it up a mountain? 1,100 Peruvian natives using rope and wood
and nothing else,
and machetes, and you drag it up a mountain and push it down the other side, and then go run the rapids.
You summed it up nicely, yes. Yeah. The film, by the way, is Fitzcarraldo.
I've seen it.
You should recommend it to your podcasters.
Absolutely. Isn't that the film you almost killed Klaus Kinski?
Klaus Kinski.
I think half of the audience of Speaking in Tech has probably already seen Fitzcarraldo.
Whatever.
By the way, you should know this. You should know this about these people. I have no idea what the hell Eddie does, but he'll tell us. But Sarah works at Dell, which is now becoming one of the most powerful, technology companies on the planet. Yeah. It's now privately held, so we have no idea what's going on over there. and then Greg works for one of the most powerful Japanese keiretsus on the planet, which is a top team. He's a vocal, clown for them.
So Jim, the latest is I'm working for IBM. Maybe that's a little bit of context.
Is that what it is now? Okay.
It is. We are the giants.
In a wonderful position to commit beautiful acts of burglary.
We'll wrap it up on that. And Werner, normally when we have guests on, we'll ask them, how can people stalk you online? But you don't have a Facebook account. You don't have a Twitter account. The ones that are out there are all fake. So if people want to stalk you.
No,
you have so many. Right?
There's so many, but they're all fake. They're all imposters. So catch up with me at my imposters, Twitter or Facebook, or you just name it. I'm pretty
You're
much
everywhere and nowhere.
No, actually, I don't use any social media, with the exception of my kitchen table. It holds 6.
Oh.
I cook, and my wife cooks, and we have maximum 4 guests, and we have wonderful conversations across the table and friendship, and that's my social network.
And you withhold schnitzel from repressible teenagers.
Who tweet too much.
Who tweet too much.
Yeah.
Oh, I did ask you. I sent you an email. You didn't answer because you're never online. But I asked you if you own WernerHerzog.com. Do you remember seeing that?
Well, that's a website.
That is you. That is you.
That's a website of my company.
That's your company. It is
yes,
you.
And my brother is running it.
I thought so. I thought that was legitimately yours. So
yes.
The legitimate Werner Herzog handle online. www.wernerherzog.com.
Yeah. Whatever that means.
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
I love that you said www because nobody does that anymore, and that's really cute. That was very old school.
By the way, Werner was just speaking with Sir Tim Berners-Lee this evening, so he has to say www.
Right, exactly.
That's right.
Well, that's fantastic. Jim, thank you so much for being on, for producing this wonderful film. And Werner, thank you so much for taking the time to join us and talk to us a little about this and share the insights with you. This has been really fantastic. Thank you very much.
I have one question, Werner.
Yeah.
How was your first podcast?
It just happened. It's kind of weird. I see faces and they don't move.
They don't move.
And I don't know who is listening in, who is hacking into your website.
But you understand, when you actually do meet Greg, his lips don't actually move. So it's actually real.
Skype, this is kind of weird.
Did you have an okay time?
You're just funny. You just crack me up all the time.
All right.
Thanks, Greg.
And once again, thanks, Jim. Thanks, Werner, Sarah, and Eddie, as always. Thank you very much. Apologies to Fred Nix. We couldn't get to you this week, but we'll see everybody else next week.
Bye.
Shoop-da-bop, shoop-da-bop.